So the former president of Burkina Faso, Paul Henry Samdago Damiba, I think that's how you pronounce his name, was extradited to Burkina Faso on the 18th of January by the Togolese authority. And yes, like most criminals, when they are caught, they always buckle under pressure. Take a look at this video of this confession.
She did it! She did it! She's the one you want! All right, I was just sitting at home watching cartoons, playing video games with my cousin, and she came in there.
Glenn,
all right?
you're free.
Hey, I am not going to jail for you or anybody else. I have done nothing bad my entire life. Hey, man, I'm still a virgin. Okay, so what? I downloaded a couple of thousand songs off the internet. Who has it? Who has it? I
Glenn,
promise.
shut up.
No, you.
Yes. Yes, in all seriousness though, but reports are coming out that with the first questioning of Damiba by the Burkina authorities, he's starting to sink. He's starting to give up names. He's starting to snitch on his co-accomplice or his accomplices within and without within or without Burkina Faso. So, ladies and gentlemen, we see that these people who try to dance with imperialism and try to sabotage their nation and sabotage their country is always abandoned by these imperialists and also these puppets within the region. You see in Ivory Coast, in Benin, these people that enable Damiba, stupidly I think, has abandoned him. No one will save him. But some of the crimes that Damiba is being charged with or extradited to Burkina Faso on is, of course, he's accused of destabilization, but he's accused of money laundering, looting of state fund, and other financial crimes and corruption, and also corruption charges. But what are the implications of this? Of course, this is a huge blow to the imperialists forces within the region, within West Africa. Many were counting on Damiba to overthrow the government of Burkina Faso, the revolutionary government, to destabilize the region, as of course, to hurt the AES confederation. And I don't know what they think was going to happen, because if we study the coup, well, the two coups that happened in Burkina Faso, remember there was this puppet leader, Roch Kabore, that was overthrown in January, I think, January of 2022. And then the coup that came afterwards, September 2022, which was led by Captain Ibrahim Traore. But there's something interesting that the first coup that happened in 2022, which was led by Damiba. Damiba was the face, he became the president, was agreed on by these young military officers, these revolutionary military officers who did not want to take power. Because if they wanted to take power, they would have gone and took power. But they let Damiba became the head of the MPSR 1 at the time to lead the country in the fight against terrorism, because they realized that France and their imperialist backers were playing a dirty game in the region. The destabilization effort was being led by these countries, such as France, that claim that they're there to help them fight terrorism. It was allegedly quite the contrary. They were supporting terrorism, these mercenaries to occupy the Burkinabe land, and also the huge military loss, both personnel and equipment wise. The Burkinabe authority was under equipped, undermanned, under equipped, underfunded as well. They weren't up to the task. These were brave fighters, of course, but they weren't equipped. You can't go to war with a military that is not prepared. But Damiba was given the charge to lead this new the fight against terrorism. A, the promise that was made to the officers, the military, was not kept. Damiba end up being, a politician. The taste of power became sweet. He started making trips to Ivory Coast. He's getting these nice welcomes. Now he became a president, right? He became one of them, or whether he was one of them before. But he ended up cutting off these military officers that put him in power, that agreed to place him in the seat of the presidency to, carry out the mission of harming them properly, getting rid of the imperialist forces that are not, that are there, that are aiding these terrorists. But that may end up cutting off a lot of these people. It is reported that these officers could not even reach Damiba by phone. They could not reach him anymore. The taste of power became so sweet. Anyway, in September 2023, these young officers, led by Captain Ibrahim Traore, overthrew the government of Damiba, overthrew Damiba, and brotherly, uh, out of brotherhood and love for their nation, and not seeking revenge or so forth, they allowed Damiba to leave the country under the condition that he would not interfere in the domestic politics or politics of Burkina Faso. But many reports have come out to Burkina Faso that Damiba have tried countless destabilization attempts. We've seen the evidence put before so many times that these people were caught, you know, multiple unaliving attempts on the current president of Burkina Faso. And he was warned by the Togolese authority that I would say, has played fair up to this point in this situation. Yes, you can accuse somebody of doing X, Y, and Z, but you have to put your evidence before us. And this is what the Burkina authority did. I think this was the straw that broke the camel back on in this case with the Togolese authority. He was arrested, I think, on the 17th or the 16th of January, and questioned, and he confessed, according to the reports that are coming out, the communique that was put up, extradited back to Burkina Faso on the 18th of January. So, what are the implications with this? Already they're saying he's already starting to sing. He's already, it's like a tough, it's like a tough guy. They're tough until you get them in a space, then they start crying. So there's no honor amongst thieves. Already he's starting to sing. A lot of devices have been recovered. It is alleged that Damiba have recorded a lot of information, almost all conversation that he had with plotters in Burkina Faso, whether it's civilian or military or in civil society. He has recorded those information, and those he has recorded those conversations, and those conversations and files have been recovered by the Burkina Faso authority. So many people are saying, there's a lot of trolls. They're saying, oh, he might get the capital punishment. Not just trolls, but people are saying he might get the capital punishment and so forth. And I don't believe that would be the case, because one of the agreement that the Burkina Faso authority made with the Togolese side is that they will not seek the capital punishment, the D penalty, if we use the D penalty, if we use that term. We don't want to get censored, but I believe other conspirator might get the D penalty, the capital punishment, but I don't think Damiba will get the D penalty, because that is one of the agreement that the Togolese authority made with the Burkina Faso authority, that if Damiba is extradited to you, you will not give him the D penalty. So we don't think that will be the case. And also, this will be a diplomatic row if Burkina Faso end up giving him the capital punishment, because you already made that agreement with a state that has shown to be diplomatic in their relation with Burkina Faso. They've delivered him after you've provided your evidence, you've given your word, and I'm sure papers were signed. And this is also through international treaties, human rights violation, and so forth. So you've agreed to that. So I don't think he will be given. It would be given the penalty. But other destabilizer that are in the country, you will see a lot of them confess on national television. They might get this treatment, and this is nothing new. Ivory Coast themselves receive a lot of people that are in exile was extradited to Ivory Coast. A lot of you know activists that are speaking out against the regime in Ivory Coast have been extradited back to Ivory Coast from Togo, at least from Togo, another place, Mauritania. So these people aren't trying to destabilize the Ivorian regime. They're just speaking out about the brutality and the corruption of the Ivorian regime. So, ladies and gentlemen, we see this as a positive development in the region. This is really good because let's face it, some of the things that Damiba is accused of is atrocious. Some of the things that he's accused of, if he's found guilty and if he's guilty of crimes, those crimes of course would have caused or have caused a lot of suffering, mass unalivement in military personnel, civilians. That some of the things he's accused of doing is actually supporting terrorism and also attempt on the life of a head of state. It's okay to disagree with a leader that is trying to make good for his country, but to plan the unaliving, as what happened to Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso in 1987, is unacceptable. You can disagree with somebody's philosophy and ideology, but the president of Burkina Faso is actually advocating and he's trying to build a nation. What is Damiba going to do? Damiba doesn't have a ideology. Damiba doesn't have a plan. What development plan does Damiba have? What plan does he have to take back the territory and to defeat the scourge of neo-colonial imperialism, terrorism in Burkina Faso? He does not. It's just his taste for power. As stupid as he is, his taste for power. He have gotten the taste for power, and he will do anything to get that back. He will destroy a nation, destroy his people. So even though he might not get the capital punishment, the deep punishment, uh, he will definitely spend a long time in prison in Burkina Faso. And I believe a lot of people, I think the Burkina Bay Authority will use this opportunity to purge the government, the institution of people like this. People who are willing to betray their country, not just carry out a coup d'etat, but because a coup d'etat in Burkina Faso is not possible now. What you're carrying out is actually a destruction of the country, destruction of the country's institution that might lead to something like civil conflict, civil war. Because France and the imperialists seems like they're hell bent on destroying this new African revolution that is on the rise, and they don't mind carrying out a Syria or a Libya or an Iraq. And for them to do that, you need internal collaborators to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, good luck to Damiba and all those who were stupid enough to follow him. And I believe this is a new Africa. This is a new age. This is my first video on this channel is the new African Renaissance, and I use new purposefully because this is a new breed of African. You can see even with the AFCON, Africans are speaking up for themselves. They're not taking stuff lying down. It won't be a business as usual. It won't be business as usual. So thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.